What if the man everyone called useless suddenly built something no one thought he could? What if the same person who ruined every relationship and started changing lives, one house at a time? But here's the scary part. Just when Lloyd finally began earning trust, his biggest enemy appeared, his own father, and everything changed. The previous episode, Lloyd Frontera was known as the village's biggest troublemaker. Lazy, arrogant, completely unreliable. Nobody trusted him, not even his own family. But after receiving a mysterious system, something inside Lloyd changed. For the first time in his life, he had a goal. To build, to create, to prove everyone wrong. And now? Episode 2 begins exactly where things get interesting. Lloyd had just made a deal with the pub owner. If he could renovate the old broken house and make it livable again, he would finally have proof of his skills. But there was one problem. Actually, a big one. He couldn't do it alone. That's when Javier entered the story. A man known for his hard work. Strong, efficient, quiet, and extremely cautious. Especially when it came to Lloyd. Because everyone knew one thing. Trusting Lloyd Frontera was usually a terrible idea. Still, Javier decided to stay. Not because he trusted Lloyd, but because he wanted answers. He wanted to know, had Lloyd actually changed, or was this just another trick? Only time would tell. The work began early. Wood had to be cut. Ground needed to be leveled. Materials had to be moved. It was exhausting. But something strange happened. Javier noticed Lloyd working harder than ever before, not talking, not complaining, just working. At first, Javier thought it was an act, but then he saw something unbelievable. The speed, the efficiency, the planning. It was beyond anything he expected. Every cut Lloyd made had purpose. Every measurement was precise. Every decision felt calculated. Javier frowned. This wasn't the Lloyd he knew, not even close. Then Lloyd smiled and said, "Javier, you're more efficient than modern machines. You don't even need special equipment." Javier just stared at him. Was that praise? Coming from Lloyd? Before he could respond, Lloyd continued, "By the way, after cutting these logs, can you help me with digging too?" Javier's expression changed instantly. Inside his head, frustration exploded. I thought he'd thank me. Instead, he's giving me more work. For a moment, he regretted staying. Then another thought crossed his mind. How am I supposed to trust this man? This is Lloyd Frontera, the same person who caused nothing but problems. The same troublemaker everyone hated. But after thinking carefully, Javier reached a decision. Still, I need to know what's really going on. I need to understand his intentions. Maybe he really has changed, and because of that curiosity, he stayed. Days passed, the two continued working together. Slowly, the broken structure started changing. What was once a damaged, uncomfortable house began taking shape. Walls became stronger. The layout improved. Ventilation was redesigned. Insulation was added. Everything Lloyd did had purpose. And Javier noticed all of it. He didn't say much, but inside, questions kept growing. Where did Lloyd learn this? How does he know all this? Why is he so different now? Finally, after days of nonstop work, the house was complete. The final task finished. Lloyd threw his hands into the air. Finally, it's done. A huge smile appeared on his face, because this wasn't just construction. This was history. This was his first successful project, the beginning of his new life. Then Javier noticed something strange, a symbol carved into the building. Curious, he asked, "What is that?" Lloyd smiled proudly. "That's my logo, the symbol of my future company. I'm going to build my business around this. This house isn't just a project. It's the foundation of everything." Javier quietly listened. The more he observed Lloyd, the harder he became to understand. Was this really the same man? A little later, the pub owner and his mother arrived. It was time. The real test. Would they like the result, or would everything fail? As soon as they stepped inside, their expressions changed. Completely. The house felt warm, comfortable, welcoming. Unlike before, heat stayed inside. Airflow improved. The entire place felt alive. The pub owner's mother slowly sat down, then lay on the bed. A smile formed on her face. "This feels wonderful. I haven't felt this comfortable in years." Silence, then relief. Lloyd exhaled. Success. But the most shocked person there was Javier, because he had seen everything with his own eyes. Lloyd kept his promise. He actually did it. Inside his mind, Javier thought, is this really Lloyd Frontera? The same man who never kept his word? The same man nobody trusted? The same useless troublemaker? No matter how much he thought, it still felt unreal. But then he looked at the pub owner, then at his mother. They were genuinely happy. And for the first time, a small smile appeared on Javier's face too. At that exact moment, a notification appeared before Lloyd. Relationship points increased, plus 2 points. The system spoke. Relationship improved. Lloyd smiled. For the first time since receiving the system, his points had increased. And this time, for the right reason. Not manipulation, not lies, but real effort, real value. Then Javier quietly said, "Maybe you're not as useless as I thought." Lloyd laughed. Finally, recognition, even if small, it mattered. My first house is complete, and my business has officially begun. But Lloyd had no intention of stopping there. This was only step one. He asked the pub owner for permission, then used the house as a showcase. Soon, villagers started visiting, and everyone who stepped inside felt the difference. The warmth, the comfort, the design. Everything felt premium, different, special. Lloyd saw opportunity, and he acted fast. "If you want, I can renovate your homes too. And for my first customers, I'm offering a 10% discount." It was a solid offer, a smart offer, but no one accepted. Silence. Awkward silence. Then one villager refused immediately. Lloyd froze. "What? Why?" Then another system notification appeared. Trust level extremely low. Lloyd's face darkened. Of course, he forgot the biggest problem. Skill wasn't enough, reputation mattered, and his reputation was terrible. He clenched his fist. "I'm literally offering a discount, and you still don't trust me?" Frustration rose. Then a deep voice echoed behind him. "Lloyd." The atmosphere changed instantly. Lloyd turned around, and there he was. Arcos Frontera, his father, cold eyes, sharp expression, disappointment written across his face. "What exactly are you doing?" At that moment, another notification appeared. Relationship points, -20. Lloyd's expression hardened. Even his own father still saw him as a failure, and that was only the beginning, because Lloyd's greatest challenge was no longer the villagers. It was family, his own blood, and the next battle was about to begin.